Hi, I'm Dan Skrzina, and welcome to the Korean Cardboard Podcast, a show that discusses sports card collecting and life and times in Asia and beyond. If you want to expand your knowledge on Asian baseball, its cardboard, and the people who collect it, stick around.
Man, I don't even know what the question was. I just got off on a
Uh,
topic.
no, I think we were talking about your being a superstar at
Oh, that. Well, I mean, I think just because I stood out is what
Justin's a TV star,
yeah, worldwide. I've been on Korean television,
Chinese or Taiwanese.
yeah, and Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh so I guess because I was like a freak over there, but then uh as I became more comfortable in Korea, I started setting in the exciting zone or the fan zone at KT Wiz games, and had my thunder sticks. I knew every player's dance and every player's theme song because every player has a theme song and a corresponding dance that goes with it. So I knew
Right.
all.
Let me explain the exciting zone for people. All right, so the exciting zone is usually right up by the dugouts or the where the cheerleader or typically each team has maybe anywhere from like 6 to 10 cheerleaders and they rotate or they may not all be at the same game at the same time. And then there's one male cheermaster who leads all the fans into singing and then all the player songs. And when he's talking about exciting zone, there's usually zones where all the fans who want to cheer and stand up and do all the moves. That's the exciting zone. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and the drummers and the DJ.
Oh yeah.
Don't
Oh
forget
yeah.
about that. Yeah,
Well, not every. No, I suppose there's. Yeah, I guess you could call him a DJ. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. And so I would I would stick out, you know. And one time the cheermaster called me up on the dugout, and I nailed the dance. Uh, no video, but I do have pictures of me getting up there. Uh, and then with me getting autographs, I would be at the stadium longer than the players would. I would get there. I would get at the stadium as the players were arriving, get their autographs then, because it's virtually impossible to get autographs inside of the stadium at a KBO game
Sure.
because of safety nets.
Mhm.
And so I would get their autographs as they're going into the stadium, and then after the game, you know, after they shower and everything, I would get their autographs as they were leaving. And the people that worked for KT, they seen me at the stadium all the time, and then they ended up doing an interview with me, and they would play it before their home games, which I didn't know they were going to do, and that was extremely embarrassing. And then they ended up they made me a so the KT Wiz, the Wiz is short for Wizard, and they gave me a cape with a hood and the logo on the back and embroidered. I think it says like first foreign fan or number one foreign fan on it. And
That'd be a good feeling.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
was pretty cool. And then they turned that into a video and put it on their website, and that kind of helped me become a minor celebrity. It was always cool when I was inside the stadium and they played that video, and then the Korean person slowly looked at you, and I'm like, hey,
Yeah, that's me.
that's me. So
It's more like this, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
now you're not so upset about me taking up your armrest, you know, because I'm huge in those little seats. So yeah,
I remember. All right, we're already at 48 minutes, and there's so much more. Well, not so much more, but I did want to ask you some more. Um, well, I guess we could fit this all in one session. I do have some other things I want to ask you, but all right. So I want to tell you how you got to be like good friends with Lee Dae-hyung.
so I would wear my Hyung jersey all the time, right? And I for the longest time I could not get this dude's autograph. Like I think he was intentionally ignoring me or something, but in all fairness, he was really popular just with the females, and he would get mobbed all the time. And one of the things that Koreans do, uh, you have to get the player's autograph before the women get to him, because the women have gift bags of like, I don't know, like pastries, and then they'll give them that, and then they'll give them coffee. Like I see guys with like 5 coffees walking into the stadium. Like, I mean, what do you, so if you don't get to them before the women, and they get the handbags and the coffee, you're not getting an autograph because they don't put it down.
Wow.
You know, so he would acknowledge me. He knew I was there. He knew I was trying to get his autograph, right? And then one day I was hanging out by the locker room, sounding like a stalker. I was actually FaceTiming my parents, and so they got to witness this story unfold. And this guy comes out and just starts talking to me. You know, I didn't know who he was, and turns out he was the translator for the foreign players with the KT Wiz. At the time, it was Andy Marte.
Was it all those pictures, Lowy and
Van
Budart?
Wasn't there yet. It was Johan Pino, the former twin, and then Travis Banwart.
Okay.
And so he introduced himself. Hey, I'm the translator. And he's like, I'm really good friends with Lee Dae-hyung. And I noticed that you're wearing his jersey. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, whatever, you're full of shit. And he's like, do you have anything that you would like to get signed by him? And I'm like, well, yeah, I have a few of his cards. And then he's like, oh, yeah, which one's your favorite? And so I pull out a stack like this, and he's like, oh. I was like, oh. So I'm like, all right. So I give him that card that you showed earlier, the clear card, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, I'll take this, and then give me your jersey. And I was like, all right. So he took my jersey, right? So he goes in, and I'm talking to my parents. I'm like, I don't know. This dude said that he could give me Lee Dae-hyung's autograph. So, yep, that card. It looks good. That's one of my favorite cards.
I love these clear cards.
No joke. And so like 10 or 15 minutes later, he comes back out, and sure as shit, he got the card signed. They signed it on the back, which I'm not disappointed about, because if you guys paid attention when Dan put the card up, it has that facsimile signature on it. And the Korean players hate to sign over their signature.
Yeah, there's a gold facsimile auto, if you could see closely. Yeah, you mentioned they don't like to sign it because they may think they already signed it.
Yeah, they think it's already signed. So he signed it on the back right at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So he signed that, and then he signed my jersey, and the translator goes, Lee Dae-hyung wanted to thank you. His nickname's Supersonic. He goes, Supersonic wanted to thank you for being such a big fan.
They call him by the name?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And here's his jersey, and I just lost it.
Wow.
Like, I was over the... Yeah, and if you could have seen the looks that the women gave me, like daggers in their eyes, because they were like, I have been buying this dude $5 coffees every day for the past 3 years. You show up because you're American, and you get his game-worn jersey, right?
Oh,
so
that's the white game-worn jersey he foreshadowed earlier.
Yeah. I should have had this stuff out. I mean, it's in the closet.
Did you frame it yet?
No, I haven't framed anything because, being in the military, I move so many times.
Well, they move that furry for you, don't they?
They move it, but they also like to break your stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah. So it was weird. After I got his jersey signed, it was like an icebreaker, and he was cool with me. And then one day, I can't remember if it was 400 career steals or 450 career steals, but in Korea, they like to release special logo balls or photo balls and special jerseys for like every occasion, like a pitcher getting his first complete game or first
Right.
shutout.
Right.
So,
It's crazy. Yeah.
so I have his jersey in my closet too, but it's his 450th, I think, career stolen base, and it was this gaudy, like it was their black jersey, but then everything else was gold, and so I ended up buying that. I had to special order it. And the jerseys are serial number too, so I ended up buying that. I think it took like 3 weeks for me to get it, and picked it up at the stadium. It was a Wiz home game, and there's this there's gates that they open up. They have one in left field and one in right field. This was in right field, where after batting practice they can wheel they just wheel the turtles and all the screens outside the stadium because there's not enough room inside like MLB stadiums, right?
They do
So
the same thing in Daegu. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm standing there at the gate because you can look in and watch them take BP and everything, and I see Ide Hyung, and I'm holding up the jersey, like
Thank you. Thank
uh,
you.
yeah, he
Come on,
sees
Yeah.
uh, Park Hyun Soo, the former captain. He's like pointing at Ide Hyung, and I'm showing him the jersey, and they're like, "You bought that?" And I go, "Yeah." And they're like, "How much did it cost?" And something ridiculous. I think it was 150,
I was gonna say 200. Yeah.
yeah, close to $200. And so I showed him that, and he gave me like a thumbs up, like, all right, you psycho. So I go in, I go into the stadium, do my little warm ups because I don't know if any other team does this, but at the Wiz home games when they open it up, they the cheermaster and the cheerleaders come out, and they have a practice for the fans. They'll go through the lineup, and they'll play the player's song and teach you the dances and everything. So I did that so I could get all limbered up for the game, and then Ide Hyung comes out, and I show him the jersey, and I'm like waving the Sharpie, and he waves me down, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So they have actually gotten.
There's no more exciting moment.
Yeah, I know, because then everybody inside the stadium was like, "Who is this dude that knows Ide Hyung?" Like, we were friends. Like, I know
Right.
him. He wants me to come down and talk to him, so I'm
Right.
going to do that.
Uh,
And so I try to get him to sign a jersey, and it's like golden sandpaper, so it destroys my Sharpie, and it doesn't take on the number. So there was side panels that were golden, and I got him to sign that. So that jersey I can never display. Well, I could probably if I make it flat enough so the signature shows. But so that was like, I think that was the first time I got his autograph in person, right?
okay.
And when it was my birthday, I went up to Jam Show. They were playing. I can't remember if it was LG or Doosan, but it was my birthday weekend. It was a Saturday. The Wiz were playing in Seoul. I was like, I'm staying at the team hotel. I don't know if I ever told you this story.
I don't think
Right.
maybe go on.
Yeah. So I get a room at the team hotel, right? And it was funny because I was going over to the stadium early, and I got on the elevator, and one of the Wiz players was on the elevator, and they looked at me, and I knew who it was. I can't remember who it was at the time, but so I and the cool thing was I went down to the lobby and just waited and got autographs with my friends. And the cool thing was security couldn't do anything because I was staying at the hotel anyway, so I was a guest, right?
Right.
So got autographs, didn't get supersonic, right? And then ended up going over to Seoul, or not Seoul, but I was already in Seoul, over to the stadium, had way too much to drink, and ended up going back to the hotel, and I actually beat the team bus back to the hotel, believe it or not. And they get like, an escort back to the hotel, and I still beat them somehow. And So I'm waiting for autographs, and I get a tap on my back, and I turn around. No shit, it's Supersonic. He goes, "You want my autograph?" I may have dropped some expletives because, like I said, I had a lot to drink that night, and I had my book. He signed everything. He was so cool.
Wow.
Then later on that night, I go up to my, and I remember the night, so because it was the opening ceremonies of the Summer Olympics, and so I take all my stuff upstairs. I'm like, I should probably go get some more beer. So I'm
That
wondering,
sounds, yeah.
yeah, I'm wandering around, going across the street to uh, I think it was a
GS25 or
yeah GS25, and I run into Travis Banwart, and I want to say it was Josh Lowy, because he was with him at that time,
both of them
but
or just Josh?
it was Josh Lowy.
Okay.
Yeah, they run into me, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "We're going to get some beer. You guys want to hang out?"
I'm sorry. I knew you knew the guys, but did you know them already at that time?
Uh, I believe so, because I don't know if I showed you the picture, but one time I went out drinking with
Yeah, I think yeah,
Travis, Ryan Fearbend, and Josh Lowy.
yeah. I remember. I think I remember the photo. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So you run into Josh and GS25.
No, they were going to get something to eat, and I was like, asked them if they wanted to go drink with me, but Travis's wife was in town, and Josh was still new with the team, so he probably thought I was some weirdo. Anyway, some drunk guy stumbling around Seoul in a KT Wiz jersey, you know.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, and then after that, like Lee Hyung, even though he would get mobbed, he would stop and at least sign one thing for me.
Uh,
Yeah,
I'm sure he misses you.
I miss him. He probably, I don't know. I think he does.
Yeah.
But last year when the Wiz came to Tucson, which kind of sucks. So I've been in Tucson 3 years. The Wiz have been here all 3 years for spring camp, but with him being hurt, he only made it to last year's spring camp, and I wish I would have asked him for a bat. But
Did you see?
what's that?
Did you see him?
Yeah, yeah.
So was it? I mean, okay. So how long had it been since you've seen him? 2 or 3 years?
Uh, almost 2 years, and he remembered me. He came right up to me. It
Well,
was
that's
like,
what I wanted to know. I want to know this. Yes.
yeah, I. It was super awkward because I think I tried to hug him. I can't remember. Like,
Oh, I wanted you to hug him. Yes.
like you're kind of going in, but then they give you like the hand to do the thing around the back.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah. You have to become really close to a Korean before they hug you.
yeah.
You know.
I thought we were there. I thought.
Yeah. No, I felt like you were there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So how was that? How was that moment?
Oh, it was awesome. I was so happy. And he showed me his scar on his knee from when he got hurt, which pretty much
This is
ended
amazing,
his
people.
career.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it was cool. I mean, he would wave to me all the time, say hi and everything. But a lot of the guys on the Wiz know who I am just from Korea. And the crazy thing is, the guys that are no longer on the Wiz that play on other KBO teams, when they come to Tucson for spring training, they remember me. And they're like, KT. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
What,
Yeah.
what about Lee Jin Young or Jin Young Lee? Because he was on KT for the first few years, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ejin Young. And then I didn't know that he was a coach for SK. And the weird thing is, so this year SK had basically 2 spring camps. The first 3 weeks they were in Florida, and they changed the rosters. Not everybody that was in Florida came to Arizona, and the coaches, not all the coaches that were on that roster came to Arizona. So I didn't know Ejin Young was there until I was in the stands watching a practice game. It was who was it? It had to have been KT and NC because they were the other teams. The KT Wiz and the NC Dinos. And I looked over. I was like, Ejin Young. And he looked at me, and he had that, like, deer in the headlights. Like, holy shit, this guy's still here. So then the next day, I got all my Ejin Young cards, but I only asked him to sign 4. That's all I put in my book. And then after that, he avoided me for the rest of the spring.
Well, at least he was nice enough to sign 4.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Him, Hyung Jersey, Hyung Jae-gook, and Park Hyun-soo. Park Hyun-soo talks to me all the time. And I don't know if they're messing with me, but they always call me Korean superstar. So I think
I'm sure.
My balls.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't have the autos in front of me that you've given me or sold to me before, but I wanted to show the Yohan Jun one, but I can't find him at the moment. He was on a I think it's on a Nexon card. Yeah. All right. So I wanted to move on to what I asked you previously. Tell me some stories about getting autographs from other players.
Koreans or Americans?
I don't think you have ever told me about the foreigners. I know you told me about Choi Hee-sup.
Yes.
I was with you when you went after one of the games. We went to I think it was a Doosan SK game in Jamshil, and we went to the SK hotel.
Yeah,
with
Riviera.
The guys, and I know we briefly spoke to Hector Gomez.
Yeah, he's super cool. Yeah, former Colorado Rocky. Yeah, he was always cool with me. There really wasn't a lot of autograph opportunities for the foreign guys because it was usually career minor leaguers or those 4A type guys that didn't have a lot of big league service time. I think when I was there, the person that had the most amount of cards was maybe Chris Seddon.
Okay.
And then Dustin Nippert. I mean, he was like a Korean god over there. Or, well, he's not Korean, he's American.
What's a shame he didn't get picked up last year.
Yeah. So those guys were always cool, the foreigners, and people like Nick Evans and Michael Bowden, guys that I wasn't ever able to get when they were playing in the States, especially Nick Evans. That guy was super tough. But then once he got to Korea, I don't know, maybe he was feeling homesick and was like, oh, somebody else that speaks English, I can talk to him. You know, he was really nice about signing for me then.
Well, Nick Evans, that's my, I think that was 2014. I think that was my first year here too.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long you played there.
I think he only played 2 years.
But I want to say he's a coach with the D-backs now, minor league. So I have to get one of your foreign attack cards signed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know you saw Choi Hee-sup at the bus station.
Yeah.
You've made me feel bad.
the rapid. What's the fast buses called? Rapid bus or something where they make. So it was. This was during.
Was it Intercity bus? No, I'm not sure. Go ahead.
This was during the World Baseball Classic qualifiers. So this was in 2016. We weren't allowed to get autographs inside the hotel, but this hotel was ground level, and then underneath the hotel was a complete shopping system, like a shopping mall, and then below that was 3 levels of subways, and then there was a bus station farther down, right? And we're walking around because we're just basically watching the escalator, see who's coming down, right? And by that time, I was pretty entrenched with all the folks that got autographs, right? And one of the guys said, "There's Che Hisop, or I'm trying to say it the way they would say it in Korea instead of Hisop Choi, you
What?
know?
Trey Hisa.
Yeah. And they're like, he's sitting over. They're like, I think he's sitting over there on the bench. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That dude probably has a car. Why is he waiting on a bus? So, sure shit, we go over there and he's right there, just sitting, like waiting on his bus, right? So I would always bring broadcasters' cards with me. His cards, JSO was a broadcaster at the time, and I would always carry their cards because I never knew what games they would be broadcasting. And then, Chan Ho Park, he was broadcasting for the World Baseball Classic as well. So, uh, one of my Korean friends took me over to meet him, and I put as many of his cards as I could in my book because he played in Korea long enough where he has a decent amount of KBO cards. I think 5 or 6 maybe, and then he has a ton of American cards. So
Yeah.
he signed. I don't know what my Korean friend said to him, but like when Koreans talk, it sounds like they're yelling at each other, but they just talk really loud. And so he signed. He has 2 autographs. He signed all of his KBO cards in Korean, and then all of his MLB cards he signed with his English autograph. So I was super happy about that because the only other time I was able to get his autograph was before a game at Jamshil, and got him when he was walking in. And then I wish I would have gave other people some cards to get signed for me because I still have like a stack of that. But I've learned over the years to not to be too greedy and be happy with what I got. So I was ecstatic because I call those bonus autographs that I was not expecting to get, and
Right.
then you end up getting them, and it just made my night. And it was so cool because of all things, why
What do
was he
you,
listening?
yeah.
Why?
I don't
I
know.
don't
Maybe.
know. Maybe he's one of the few Koreans that he had too much to drink and he decided not to drive. So I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Ganjong,
yeah,
huh? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Was that the first time you noticed where when Trey Sup signed in English and then signed in, or sorry, signature then in Hangul, the Korean text, Korean writing? Was that the first time you noticed where a guy would do that? First
Yeah,
time?
first time ever. And I honestly don't know if he would have done that had my Korean friend not been there. Because I remember him pointing at the cards and saying something as he pointed to each card.
Maybe
So
the, yeah. Okay.
yeah. Then the only other person that I seen do that was this was
CPBL.
around, was that?
I thought someone from the CPBL did that for you.
Uh,
I thought they did in Chinese and one was in English or either signature. I thought.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look.
Okay. Because I thought it because you got the CPBL autographs at spring training in Arizona, right?
Yeah, but also I got
When he was on TV. Go ahead.
yeah, I also got them during that same week in Seoul because of the World Baseball Classic.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was during that week that I got Kim Tae-gyun for the first time ever
Oh,
from
nice.
Hanwha Eagles, whose jersey that you're wearing, and I had never been able to get his autograph before. He was kind of like one of my favorite players. Like he's not like Lee Hyung level favorite, but he just looks different than the normal Korean. Like he's a big dude, power hitter.
Like the hair.
Yeah, yeah. And he played in Japan for the Chiba Lotte Marines, and so I have my book where I have photo corners and it keeps the cards in place on the book. So I handed him the book and he signed 2 cards. He signed one of his Korean cards and one of his Japanese cards. And that's the first time that I ever seen somebody sign it in a different language without me asking them.
Okay. How about Ryu JaeGook? the he was a
Yeah,
Cubs player.
yeah. Got him. He's super nice. I ran into him a lot in Seoul because I would go to KBL games, the Korean Basketball League, and a lot of the times the KBO guys would go to the game, so I'd always bring my cards there, and got his autograph there a few times as well at the basketball games. But he spoke perfect English, and he's one of the guys that was surprised that I had his American cards because for me, being an American, his cards are common over
Yeah.
here. Like they're, a nickel or a dime. But in Korea, those cards are worth a couple dollars and they're harder to get. And then when I roll over there with, 4 or 5 of his cards, he's like, whoa, where'd you get all these? And then Jay So, he was surprised that I had his Korean cards, or he only has one, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, and he was surprised that I had that.
All right, and last one for as far as autograph stories. I think you said something briefly about him was of the Bong and Puffer card fame, Bong Jung Gun.
Yeah, my buddy.
So
I
how that
remember
worked?
that.
Did
I
you speak
believe
English, or
what's that?
you told me you spoke some English?
Oh, he speaks perfect English. He speaks better English than I do because he went over to the States when he was fairly young. I don't know if he pitched for a Korean university or not. I can't remember if he just came over straight out of high school because he, like, growing up, him and I'll butcher his name. I'll think of it in a minute, but he was on the Braves top 10 prospect list forever, through Baseball America and stuff like that. And so that was one of the guys that I was like, who the hell is this guy? He came all the way from Korea. He's got to be good if he's the only one in the States. So he was over here long enough to he went to did some schooling and he like I said, speaks perfect English. And so I actually got to backtrack because I ended up getting his autograph way before the World Baseball Classic ever happened. And he asked me, do you want me to sign this in English or Korean? And that blew my mind. So all of his Korean cards, I asked him to sign them in Hangul. And all of his MLB cards, I asked him to sign in English. And I actually don't have that Bong Puffer card. I don't have it signed. I think that's his only MLB card that I don't have signed. And the bat that I ended up tracking down on eBay from his Cincinnati Red days, I got him to sign that in English and in Hangul. And that's the bat that Naver did the article about me
Okay.
and put on the internet. But the other guy, they came over at the same time as him, former Montreal Expo and Lotte Giant, sung songs.
Okay.
Yeah. And I actually got his autograph in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
How did that happen?
He was playing for the Expos AA affiliate at the time.
Oh,
And
you drove to Harrisburg?
yeah. Harrisburg was only a couple hours from where I lived in Maryland. And I would say, well, this is how long ago it was. They were playing the Erie Seawolves, and you know who was playing for the Erie Seawolves?
I do not.
Andy Van Hecken.
No way.
Yeah, so they were big guys to get. So I got Van Hecken that day and Song. And so Song signed my card in Korean. He signed it in Hangul, but like with the letters and everything.
Okay.
I'll have to find it, and I should have brought props to show you all the stuff that we're talking about. But, yeah.
All right. All right. As far as getting back to baseball cards, what is your favorite Korean set?
Oh, I don't know. I guess the Superstar 2014, because that's where it all started for me. That
It's
was
more
my first,
sentimental, right?
yeah, yeah, that was my first foray into KBO cards.
And if you think about it, those are probably more boring compared to newer stuff. But I totally
Oh yeah,
understand.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
is the card I've been showing your favorite card? The Clara card, Lee Hyung? Is that your favorite baseball card? The Korean card?
oh yeah, hands down. Yeah, that one. And the
Okay.
cool thing was I actually pulled that out of a box.
Oh, you
Like I
pulled
didn't,
it.
yeah, I pulled it myself. I didn't have to go to a card shop. I didn't have to have anybody get on the internet cafe for me to try and get it. I actually pulled that out of a box, and yeah, so that made it even more special.
All right. So for those who don't follow Japanese or Korean or Taiwanese baseball in the CPBL, what advice or suggestions do you have for people who are looking to get into this type of stuff?
Well, honestly, I think it's going to be a lot easier right now because of with COVID-19 going on. There's no baseball in the states, and some of the Korean teams are getting smart and putting their games on YouTube, and they're actually lifting the country restrictions so it can be viewed outside of Korea. I know Lotte has been big on that, and the LG Twins are streaming those games where you can go on YouTube. And I want to say yesterday was the opening day for CPBL.
Actually, I think it's this coming weekend. I thought, or was it today, or I thought it was next Saturday. Was it today?
I believe it was today. Yeah.
Okay,
And so,
so that would be great exposure for them.
yeah, yeah, they've, what is it? 11 Sports Taiwan is one of the carriers for it. They've unlocked the regions, and if you go to Go CPBL, their Twitter, they actually and their website, they have a step by step guide of how to view the CPBL. CPBL is a Chinese Professional Baseball League. It all takes place in Taiwan, but I'm not going to get into all those politics.
Four
But
teams.
we're five now, five.
Oh yeah, the new one is here, right?
Yeah, so the Lamingo monkeys don't exist anymore. Now they're the Rakuten monkeys, and the other team is
China
the
Troopers.
Wei Chung Dragons.
Okay.
And I don't know if he's still the manager, but Munenori Kawasaki, former Blue Jay, Cub, and Mariner, he was the player manager this spring. So I don't know if he's doing that still. Uh, so yeah, now there's five teams, and for $30 you can buy the equivalent of the MLB TV and watch all their games. So for $30, uh, but for me, the biggest thing I would say if you want to get into watching the games,
Well,
for
I'm sorry. I meant, or you could talk about watching as well as buying foreign cards.
buying foreign cards, Korean, go to your site, Korean Cardboard, because your blog was a lifesaver for me. You have everything's in English. You break down all the sets. So definitely for Korean cards, Korean Cardboard, you can find him on Twitter and on the interwebs. And then for the actual Korea Baseball Organization, the KBO, I would go to mykbo.net. Danny does a really good job with that, with how to view the games and interacting with fans.
Might keep you on Twitter as well. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
And
And then
I'm sorry, if you type in mykbo.net on Facebook and search, he has a website there for foreigners to join. Usually, yeah,
he updates his Twitter.
all the time.
Yeah, and for Japanese baseball, our buddy Dave uh,
NPP card guy on Twitter.
on Twitter, yeah, and then
Japanese baseball cards.blogspot.com is his blog.
yeah, So that's the blog that you want to go to for buying Japanese baseball cards. He makes it foolproof for you. And then, one of the other things for buying Korean baseball cards is G Market. They're really good. You just got to be careful and make sure that you pick a store that actually ships outside of Korea, because not all of them do that. And then once you find a store that does that, prepare to pay about $30 in shipping. So buy a lot of stuff so it kind of evens out.
And how about CPBL cards? I know there's JJ's cards on Facebook. I don't think he's on Twitter. How have you gotten your Taiwanese cards?
Through JJ's on his website. He can be kind of slow to answer, but so that's where I've gotten some of my Japanese cards from too. Some of my boxes, because I've started to get into Rakuten for my Japanese singles and Japanese boxes, and the stores don't always have the backlog of stuff like he does, because he has some pretty old stuff. And then I don't watch a lot of Japanese baseball, believe it or not, because you do have to pay. And there's two leagues in Japan, right? The Pacific and the Central.
Huh?
And each league has their own subscription service. And plus, I'm really not up.
Right.
I could watch them like maybe on the weekends. And then the CPBL, I get on. There's a Yahoo, but it's yahoo.tw for Taiwan, and I watch replays of the games. And that's how I watch it. I don't pay for the subscription. Yeah.
Right. All right. Now let's get to American baseball cards. Do you let's what do you collect when it comes to baseball cards in America?
Uh, Usually it's minor league baseball cards. So it'll be Bowman, and then Topps Pro Debut, and Topps Minor League Heritage. But lately, I don't buy as many boxes of American cards as I do foreign cards anymore. Usually, I'll buy the complete sets, so that way I at least have something of the players to get signed. And then I'll buy every year. Leaf comes out with a perfect game set of the high school guys, so I'll buy those as well. So because I started recently going to college baseball games, not now with COVID-19 going on, but before that.
Do you play or collect anybody?
Yes. So Byung Ho Park, or Park Byung Ho, former Minnesota Twin, now with the Kium Heroes.
Oh, someone.
Still, what's that?
Oh, someone.
Yeah, yeah. Not as much anymore now that he went back to Korea. I would say I'm more the Byung Ho Park super collector and Jason Worth.
Okay.
But I'm still trying to find Byung Ho Park stuff.
Yeah. So if any of you Minnesota fans, Jump to Wax Twins, if you guys have any Byung Ho Park autos from his Minnesota days or even Rochester days, let this guy know.
Yeah, I do have his Rochester Red Wings more than that. He was pretty surprised that I had that. I'm still trying to find a jersey. I have not been able to find one of those yet.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you guys have any memorabilia for,
Yeah.
as far as Jason Worth stuff goes, what are you only looking for cards for Jason?
Right now, I'm kind of in the same situation as you are with your Burley. Now it's serial numbered and chasing the rainbows, because I have all this base stuff. And then it's like the team set releases and just the oddball.
Just the fun stuff, right?
Yeah, the stuff that I'm not ready to pull the trigger on yet, because it's ridiculous what they want. And it's the same way with Byung Ho Park. I mean, I don't think that people realize that he hasn't played in the States in almost 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
because he was only with the Twins for 2 years, but he only played with the Twins for half a year.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, he was in AAA. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to do this again. I hope you guys enjoy this time with Justin Shafer. If you need to get in touch with Justin, he is Charm City Autographs on Facebook. Just type in Charm City Autographs. And on Twitter, he's also a Charm City Autographs. And I was happy to get him onto Twitter about a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah, all this wouldn't have been possible without you. So I definitely wish I would have listened to you earlier. And then you got me on Twitter and then creating the YouTube channel. I wish I would have did all that when I was in Korea. But
Well, yeah. All righty, bud. It was a pleasure talking to you. I hope you're doing well, and take care of yourself, all right?
you too, Dan. Thanks. I appreciate it.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.